everyone. Here we are for the post-match analysis of this match between Australia and Sri Lanka. And as we all expected, David Warner, here you go. Harshal has said that Warner, that's it. There were a lot of comments backing David Warner ahead of this game, and he certainly, uh, you know, uh, he's certainly not failed to his expectations, and that's one big thing that the Aussies have a character of. We were talking a lot about how there were problems in the opening order, and I think after today's game, most of them seem to be sorted out for the Aussies, and they seem to be in cruise mode now after this game. Joining me are Ananya and Nikhil. So hello once again, guys. And what do you have to say about this performance? Starting with Nikhil, complete dominance by the Aussies.
Yes, obviously, as I said in the pre-match, that it's hard to not back the Aussies in an Aussie Sri Lanka game because they pretty much have all bases covered, and they exactly did that. Two three things were there that went in their favor. Firstly, they won the toss, so it makes slightly things easier. And even if today Dew didn't come in, but it always keeps the team on their toes as to if Dew comes in and they go for those 15-20 extra runs always, and it is in the back of the mind that we have to go for the 15-20 extra runs. And when that happens, you generally tend to lose wickets. So they I guess psychologically they had the edge over Sri Lanka in that aspect. And then it was just a bizarre captaincy where I saw Chamika Karunaratne getting the new ball instead of Chamira or Lahiru Kumara, who have serious pace. So when things aren't going your way as a batter, you need certain things to fall on your place. So that was the exact thing which Finch and Warner wanted. They got two three long hops, they just smashed it for fours, and then the engine started very smoothly. So overall they looked excellent. I guess they coming into the tournament they weren't looking that good, Australia, because their main players were missing, and that suffered losses against Bangladesh and the Windies as well. So it's really good to see Australians back in that kind of form.
Well, for now, it's okay to see the Aussies back in form, but we never know in the future what we're going to whom we're going to face. So we'll see if that works. But Aman, the all-rounder, Hardik, all of them are saying that class is permanent and form is temporary, and that's what David Warner displayed today. Ananya, David Warner, especially at the start of the innings, he looked a bit slow, but then he got off when he got off to those couple boundaries, and then he was just looking so dominant at the crease. It never seemed that he was out of form. And 65 of 42 at a strike rate of 154 is just the perfect innings that he needed. So, your thoughts on David Warner's batting and how dangerous it is for the other teams now, given the fact that the openers are in big form now.
So as we discussed in previously, like before the game as well, that you need that kind of a team against whom you have previously dominated a lot. So that thing kind of worked for David Warner finally today as well. So just before this match, I guess he commented also about his form and everything. So now because he has given a lot of big statements in the recent few days. So backing all of those like with this kind of an innings puts up a great statement actually about him, and that this today only he made himself available for the auction as well. So definitely it would put him into a great space from that perspective as well for going into the mega auction. And for today's match, like for Australians to get David Warner back in this kind of a form where he gets you the long innings, he gets you through the line almost like just 20 to 25 runs were left when he got out. So he made sure that they would win today pretty comfortably. So that if this kind of Warner turns up for Australians, that's a great sign. And also him and Finch getting that 50-run partnership, quick one, that's a great boost for them. Because the previous match they quite literally scraped off. Like they were in a position from where they could have lost it, but today it was a pretty more comfortable one, which they would feel good to have achieved.
You mentioned an important thing there. Aaron Finch is back in form as well. The two sixes that he hit and he was striking at 160 as well. The good start that Aussies got, certainly a threatening sign for the other teams. Omkar here mentioning that Australia versus England, the Ashes, but in this time the limited overs one is going to be a treat to watch for all fans, even as neutrals for us. But Nikhil, talking about the Aussie bowling now, Adam Zampa especially impressed me today. He was absolutely amazing with his line and length and the discipline with which he bowled. I think he's really matured as a bowler. So it was actually his most economical spell for Australia in T20. So your thoughts on Zampa's spell today?
Yes, he has been brilliant, and also he has been backed a lot because he had some lean patches, but they just went through with him. They showed faith in him, and if you show faith in players, they will repay you. They he is that good to be backed by a team like Australia. So he performed really well, and he's done those technical changes which are needed in his bowling, which will make him even more dangerous against the batter. Earlier, we saw many balls which he used to toss up but were full, so it wouldn't deceive the batsman. But now he's just slightly shortening the length. He's using the boundaries well, and he's using the wronger and the straighter one well as well. So it's these are really good signs, and also the sense of competition, because they have Mitch Swepson sitting out. I don't really remember if he's in the squad or not, but he's a young and upcoming leggy for Australia. So he has that competition, and he has that edge to maintain over Swepson, so that he continues to get picked. So that is one motivation to just keep on going and keep on giving out performances where you want to be the best spinner your team has got, and you get back continuously.
One important word that you mentioned there was he was backed by the team, and that's so important for any team to back their players, isn't it? So many people in the comments are talking about the Yorker that Mitchell Starc bowled to Kusal Pereira, and that was a beauty of a delivery. It was good to see vintage Starc coming in. So
Such a
Ananya,
like a proper star comeback. Like gets hit for a six, and the next ball literally like just gets you out. I guess somebody commented that it was similar to the 2019 World Cup one to Roy, but I guess it was not to Roy. It was Ben Stokes.
Yes,
it
it
was
was
Yeah, and
Stokes.
Stokes.
that's like literally etched in our minds. This is the kind of stuff that we all love to watch. Like as a neutral fan, what's more special than seeing the star coming at like full throttle and getting you out on a Yorker? Like that's amazing to watch actually. And today it was more like of a team performance from Australia actually. Like the bowling, everyone contributed more or less, and the batting also you got your openers back in form. Smith doing his usual business, and then Stone is coming and finishing it off. So Australia will find themselves in better position going into facing England in the next match, because I guess in the previous match a few of the players are missing. Only Maxwell missed out today, but we know that it's just a minor blip. It's not something to be very worried about because he's already in great form. So yeah, like before the England match, they needed this kind of a quite collective team performance, which they got. So yeah, puts them in a good, better place.
So they
And
play
also
England next. Yeah.
also they sent in one kind of a message today by sending Maxwell at 3, because now that sets a template that if they get a very good start, like if they don't lose wickets in the power play, we are going to see Maxwell coming in at 3, because he's in good form as well, and he dominates the spinners, so he'll be really effective in the middle overs. So that's one interesting thing which I saw. They were sending in Marsh at 3 because the openers weren't quite getting runs. Marsh had got runs on those slow, sluggish wickets, so he was the man in form. So he was sent up the order. But uh, but even if you look, if Maxwell goes at 3 and Smith comes at 4, they still have a formidable lower middle order, which teams struggle to put in. 5, 6, 7 teams don't have that quality players, but these three have these this Australian team has a good 5, 6, 7, where Marcus Stoinis comes in at 6, 5, Marsh comes in at 6, and then they have Matthew Wade. So three big hitting, but responsible batsmen. So it's they. We were talking about covering all bases. This is the perfect example of covering all bases.
Like actually, they have a super flexible batting order. Like most of these guys can open and also play a major role in the low middle order. Like how often do you see that? Like it's mostly one guy can perform at one position or more than that nearby to it. But yeah, but someone like a Stoinis, he can give you those finishing cameos as well, and also he can open for you. So that's like a bonus for the team if somebody can contribute so flexibly.
And Hardik here mentions an important point. He says that Smith is the underrated star. I'm not really sure if he's underrated, but he's surely a star. And
Star
he,
definitely.
yeah, he's like a glue, and he helps Australia fight back and keeps them off pressure, which is absolutely right. I mean, the way he holds one end up and gives the freedom to the other players on the other side to go for those sixes. And I absolutely agree with Ananya your point as well, because Mitchell Marsh, I was personally was expecting Mitchell Marsh at number 3, but then they put in with Glenn Maxwell, so that's the unpredictable nature. But talking about Sri Lanka as well, now this performance quite a disappointing one, especially in the bowling. I thought 155 was slightly below par, but still, if with good bowling, they could have taken it till the 18th or the 19th over. So, what are the kind of positives that Sri Lanka can take from their game ahead, which is against South Africa in a couple of days' time? So, what are some of the positives which Sri Lanka can take from this game?
I guess Bhanuka Rajapaksha. He batted extremely well, and he is someone who is in that Sri Lankan side as a T20 specialist. So that their problem still goes through with that. They have players who are not really batting. But they have players who bat out of position. So Avishka Fernando is already batting at number 4. We saw Bhanuka Rajapaksha batting at 3 in that India series. So if they want, they really want to find that mix where players don't really look out of place, because what happens is you want to promote players, but you also want players who can perform in the middle order, and just like Steve Smith did, perform a anchor role. So they really need to figure that out. And considering the bowling, it was just I guess it was just a technical mistake, or a management mistake, I can say, because you cannot look past Dushmanta Chamira or Lahiru Kumara in the to open with the new ball. And obviously, the ball doesn't swing that much in T20 cricket. The white ball, the Kookaburra ball, just swings for first 5 deliveries prominently, and if there is a lot of help, then it keeps on swinging till maybe a second over, or end of or start of third over. So you need to exploit those conditions. And if there was no dew, then they could have rattled Finch and Warner with the pace of Chamira, or with the pace of Kumara, because Warner is someone who's made a trend to get out to right arm fast bowlers, where he can't assess that pace, which an Andrik Nokia provides, or a Kagiso Rabada provides, or Jofra Archer for that matter. So they could have used it, but they just allowed Warner and Finch to get into the groove and then tried. And it did. Uh, I'm very disappointed that they did not try to make a game out of it, because they seriously could have made a game out of it, because we saw that Australia struggled to chase 120, 121 as well against South Africa, because they made them, made them score those runs. They did not give anything easy. But seeing Chamika Karunaratne opening the bowling, or getting the new ball, it makes things easy for you. And when once you get a good start, then it's very hard to stop the team from chasing 155 and 160.
True. Hardik, you're speaking about the England's middle order, but we'll have a pre-match analysis for that as well. Don't worry about that. We've got you covered for this match against between England and Australia. But final thoughts, Ananya Vanindu Hasaranga has been the lone star for Sri Lanka now. It's been a season of Hasaranga performing well and the team not backing him. 2 wickets he got today, bowled at a wonderful economy of 5.5. So, your thoughts on Hasaranga's performance? He's been the star for a long time now. What can Sri Lanka do to back him?
See, like Hasaranga, we knew before the match as well that he would be one of the key players for Sri Lanka, and also he kind of reinstated that faith that everyone has on him by like getting the 2 wickets. Like today in the bowling lineup, if you see, like only one guy stood out, and that was Asaranga. Yeah, in the batting, he got a. I guess he misjudged the. There was a lack of game awareness. I would say like he had lost pretty much like quick wickets, and then he could have just tried to settle down and then go for his shots maybe. But then he covered it up for his, in the bowling. But somebody needed to step up and support him. Like he couldn't like do the one. Not one bowler can win your match if you have got only 150 runs on the board, and also like if Australia is in that kind of a mood. So as Nikhil said that like in South Africa's case, there was that they made them work hard for it. And in this, they it was like they were trying something which they knew they wouldn't work. Like if you have these kind of less and middling scores, you go with your best bowlers up front. Not like you would not try to work around some other options and experiment. That you can do when you have that cushion. But this time around, they didn't have that. Also, like what Sachet is commenting, I guess, is that like Sri Lanka's confidence would be hampered by it because they had gained good momentum. But I guess this as I earlier said as well, like this is a relatively younger side, so they are not that much experienced. If we put them on the paper, like the most experienced guy in the squad is Chandimal, who is missing out on games because due to lack of form. So this is a very inexperienced unit who are trying to gel well and trying to put up good shows. So maybe it would take a bit of time that they will get into the groove and the collective team performance would come out. Like now what's happening is that two, three guys are being really stand out, like Asalanka or Rajpaksha or Hasaranga. But sometime like when they will be like playing a lot of games together, so then they will kind of click and maybe then the consistency will come up. But for now, they are kind of a mercurial side who can like upset you on their day, but they will need more guys to step up to get big wins against the big sides they have in their group. And also, like Australia did very well to play Tikshana well and not give him wickets. So that made the work easier actually for them. So one guy who they were banking on maybe was him. They thought that he would put them into trouble, but when he didn't get any wickets, the work which was already easy became more easier for them.
True, true. Hardik Singh commenting that Avishka Fernandez should be promoted up the order once again in T20s, especially. We'll have to wait and watch if that happens or not. But it was an amazing game of cricket. Australia obviously dominating and winning by 7 wickets. Marcus Stoinis and Steve Smith being there till the end to see things off for Australia. Tomorrow, in fact, we've got a double header. Bangladesh play West Indies in the afternoon game, and the important game between Afghanistan and Pakistan, the neighbors, and a crucial game, in fact, for us as well, because we want Pakistan to lose now. And oh, in fact, we want Pakistan to win now. That's something. That's some sort of a dilemma that's been going on in an Indian fan's mind, because we haven't played since a week now. We'll be playing on Sunday against New Zealand. So until that, we are just overthinking a lot, it seems. But yeah, once again, guys, thanks Ananya, thanks Nikhil for the amazing chat at the post match analysis, and obviously thank you for all our viewers for putting in those much required points of discussion for them, and points which they felt were important during today's game. So yeah, thanks guys, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you.